Hello, my name is Ronnie Jones, and this week in the physics course, I will be doing my assignment over 10 physics or scientists. And first one I started off with is Ernest Rutherford. Ernest Rutherford was born in the rural Spring Grove on the South Island of New Zealand on August the 30th, 1871. He was the fourth of 12 children and the second son. In 1895, as the first research student at the University of Cambridge, Cavendish Laboratory in London, Rutherford was invited by Professor J. Thomson to collaborate on a study of X-rays. Together, Rutherford and Thomson studied the effects of X-rays on the conductive of gases, resulting in a paper about dividing atoms and molecules into ions. Rutherford took a closer look at ion production radiation, focusing on uranium. Rutherford discovered that placing it near foil resulted in one type of radiation being easily soaked up or blocked, while a different type had no trouble penetrating the same foil. He labeled the two radiation types alpha and beta. Rutherford decided to measure the effects of these waves on magnetized steel needles, leading him to invent a sensitive detector for radio waves. Rutherford's radio receiver became a part of the communication revolution known as wireless telegraph. Physics. Ernest Rutherford was the central figure in the study of radioactivity, who led the exploration of nuclear physics, a pioneer of nuclear physics and the first to split the atom. Rutherford was awarded the 1908 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his theory of atomic structure. Dubbed the father of the nuclear age. Okay, my next one is on J. Thomson, one of the guys I just read about previously. J. Thomson was born on December the 18th, 1856 in Cheetham Hill, England, and went on to attend Trinity College at Cambridge, where he would become to head the Cavendish Laboratory. He researched in cathode rays led to the discovery of electrons, and he pursued further innovations in atomic structure exploration. J. Thomson was a Nobel Prize winning physicist whose research led to the discovery of electrons. His research in cathode rays led to the discovery of electrons, and he pursued further innovation in the atomic structure exploration. Thomson won the 1906 Nobel Prize in Physics among many accolades. Again, that's JJ. Okay, my next one is on next one is on Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was born a German physicist who developed the general theory of relativity. He is considered one of the most influential physicists of the 20th century. His work also had major impacts on the development of atomic energy. As a physicist, Einstein had many discoveries, but he is perhaps the best known for his theory of relativity and the equation of E equals mc2, which foreshadowed the development of atomic power and the atomic bomb. Next one is on Mark. I think his name is Planck's. Mark Planck's in full Max Carl Ernst Ludwig Planck, born April 23rd, 1858 in Germany. German theoretical physicist who originated quantum theory, which won him the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1918. Planck made many contributions to the theoretical physics, but his fame rests primarily on his role as originator of the quantum theory. This theory revolutionized our understanding of atomic and subatomic processes. Just as Albert Einstein's theory of relativity revolutionized our understanding of space and time. Okay. Our next one is on Mr. Neil, I think his last name is Bohr, Neil Bohr. Okay, Neil Henrik David Bohr was born in Copenhagen on October the 7th, 1885. In the atomic physics, the Rutherford and Bohr model, or Bohr model, introduced by Neil Bohr in 1913, depicts the atom as a small positively charged nucleus surrounded by electrons that travel in a circular orbit around the nucleus, similar in structure to the solar system, but with attraction provided by electrostatic forces rather than gravity. Recognition of his work on the structure of atoms came with the award of the Nobel Prize in 1922. Next one is on distillation process, chemical plant. All right, distillation is the process of separating the components or substance from a liquid mixture by using selective boiling or condensation. In industrial chemistry, distillation is a unit operation of practically universal importance, but it is a physical separation process, not a chemical reaction. Distillation has many applications. For example, distillation of ferment products produce distilled beverages with a high alcohol content. Distillation is an effective and traditional method of desalination. I think that's what it's called, desalination. In the fossil fuel industry, all stabilization is a form of partial distillation that reduces vapor pressure of crude oil. In midstream operation, at oil refinery, distillation is a major class of operation for transforming crude oil into fuel and chemical feedstock. Cryogenic distillation leads to the separation of air into its components, notably oxygen, nitrogen, and argons for industrial use. In the field of industrial chemistry, large amounts of crude liquids, produce products of chemical synthesis are distilled to separate them, either from Other products from impurities or from unreacted starting materials. And installation use for distillation, especially in distilled beverages, is called distillery. Distillation equipment at the distillery is a still. Okay. All right, my next one is on Gilbert N. Lewis. Gilbert N. Lewis was born and raised in Weymouth, Massachusetts on October 23rd, 1875. An American physical chemist known for the discovery of the covalent bond and his concept of electrons pairs. His Lewis dot structure and other contributions to valent bond theory have shaped modern theories of chemical bonding. Lewis successfully contributed to thermodynamics and photochemistry and isotope separation, and also is known for his concept of acids and bases. Though he was nominated 35 times, G. N. Lewis never won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. On March 23rd, 1946, Lewis was found dead in his Berkeley laboratory where he had been working with hydrogen cyanide. Many postulated that the cause of death was suicide. Okay. Next one is on Mr. James Watt. James Watt was born in Greenock, Scotland on January the 18th, 1736. James Watt was the father of the Industrial Revolution, an inventor, engineer, scientist. His crucial role in transforming our world from one based on agriculture to one based on engineering and technology is recognized in the unit of power, the watt. James Watt's inventions and discoveries were starting the Industrial Revolution, continued to produce a stream of new ideas and inventions, which eventually, resulted in an engine, requiring 80% less fuel than earlier engines. He also invented high pressure steam engines capable of even higher efficiencies, but the technology of the time was not capable of operating them safely. Introduced to the word horsepower to describe an engine's power output. We now generally use watts to measure the power, although the engine power is still often rated in horsepower. He was the first person to propose that water is made up of hydrogen combined with oxygen. Independently discovered the scientific concept of latent heat, invented the world's first copy machine similar in function to a photocopier to make copies of correspondence, pages, books, and pictures. James Watt. Next one is on Mr. Henry Ford. Henry Ford was born on a farm in Greenfield Township, Michigan on 30th of July in 1863. Henry Ford was the eldest son of 6 children born to William and Mary Ford. Henry Ford was an American industrialist and inventor who formulated the assembly line methods for automobile manufacturing, which led to faster production at lower cost. One of the most popular figures in history, Ford inspired the Industrial Revolution in the United States and worldwide. Ford and his partner, coal dealer Alexander Malcolmson, founded the Ford Motor Company in 1903, and the company manufactured practical automobiles. Ford was the president of the company from 1906 to 1919, resuming the position from 1943 to 1945. Henry Ford. Okay. Next one is on Thomas Edison. Edison was born on February 11, 1847, in the small village of Milan, Ohio. Edison worked as a telegraph operator trained by the father of a child whose life had saved, who he had saved. Edison was a tramp telegrapher, as he was exempt from military services due to his deafness. In 1868, he was then recruited by Western Union Telegraph Company in Boston. Perhaps the first invention of Edison was the telegraph repeater in 1864, which worked automatically, while his earliest patent was for the electric vote recorder. By 1871, he designed the universal stock printer from 1870 to 1875. Edison devised many telegraphic advances, including receivers, transmitters, duplex, tapes, and automatic printers. He also collaborated in 1871 with Christopher Sholes, known as the father of the typewriter, to ameliorate the typing machine, probably his most impressive invention, the phonograph, for mechanical recordings and reproductions of sound, was patented in 1877. In 1882, Edison made an amazing scientific discovery termed the Edison effect. He discovered that in a vacuum, electrons flow from a heat element such as incandescent filaments to a cooler metal plate. The electrons flow only one way, from the hot element to the cool plate, like a diode. This effect is this effect is now called thermionic emissions. Okay. And that was the last one. I got my this is where you can find these physics and scientists. These slides I meant at this site right here on YouTube. And I want to give thanks to my wife for being my audience. And this concludes the 10 physics or scientists that had an impact on American history. Thank you.